Hi, Stu from Cellarmasters here. The question is often asked of me, by definition, does a wine get better in the bottle the longer it's kept in bottle? Yes and no, but mainly not necessarily. There are some wines that are actually designed by the winemaker to actually be at their peak shortly after being bottled, because they're actually what's called primary fruit-driven, character-filled wines. I'm thinking things like Sauvignon Blanc, all that wonderful gooseberry and passion fruit and nettles, all that character that you love a great Sauvignon Blanc for, basically dissipates with age in the bottle. So a good Sauvignon Blanc from, say, Marlborough in New Zealand should be consumed within a year and a half of the actual vintage on the front of the bottle. And yet there are some fantastic, on the other hand, let's say Shiraz, that can actually take 20, 25, 30 years in the bottle to actually reach their peak and actually become an absolute definition of what the winemaker intended. Think Grange there is basically what I'm alluding to. You know, one of the greatest Shirazes in Australia's history, if not the greatest Shiraz in Australia's history, can age very well up to 30 years to actually reach its peak. By the way, while I'm on it, the actual, we can't suddenly say, oh, wine is over the hill, a wine is dead. A wine, especially a red wine, actually goes in thirds. Its life is in thirds. It actually improves in bottle for a third of its time, it plateaus for a third of its time, and then it slowly declines over a third of its time. And what I'm talking about there in terms of decline is, its flavour profiles falls out, the tannins fall out of the wine. It's not very enjoyable over that last period of its life. Having said that, there are also some reds that are actually better in their youth, just after they've been bottled, because again of this primary fruit character which the winemaker intended. He didn't intend the wine to actually age gracefully and get better as it got older. I'm thinking things like rosé. A rosé is light and delightful and slightly lower in alcohol and should be consumed within around about a year and a half, 2 years of its age, especially in Australia with the warmer weather. So, does a wine necessarily get better with age? No, not necessarily. And for a wine to get better in bottle age, within the bottle, it's got to, one, be very good fruit to start with, very good grapes to start with. It's got to have a wonderful winemaker making it the best that it possibly can be. And it's got to be a traditional style or variety of wine that actually traditionally gets better and evolves into a completely different product, a different wine over time. I'm thinking in the whites, for instance, Chardonnay, Riesling and Semillon are terrific white wines that will actually get better in age when you've got a premium product to start with. And again in reds, Shiraz and Cabernet Sauvignon are the two standouts that will actually take bottle age extremely well. Enjoy.